Hi lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. So my name's Jenna and I am a huge makeup enthusiast and addict and lover of just everything makeup basically. So today I wanted to take you through part 2 of my eyeshadow collection, which is all my palettes that are kind of more affordable and they're from the drugstore. So I hope that you really like this video. I know these are the type of videos that I really love to watch myself on YouTube. Please don't forget to subscribe and support my channel. That would be fantastic. So we're just going to jump straight in and enjoy. Let's kick this off. I've tried my best to group everything in brands. Doing something a bit different today. You've got my lovely boring wardrobes to look at, but it's because I've got some of the big palettes to show you, so hopefully we should be able to fit those in. So one that I missed off on the Revolution was the Extravaganza palette. I wanted to show you. So this is the beauty here. Really big palette. Mixture of mattes and shimmers in there. All different colours of the rainbow. But yeah, I missed this off on the Revolution collection. Apologies, I thought I'd show you this one. So kicking off with Morphe. This is the 39A Artistry palette. So it's quite a good neutral one in here. What I like it for is these sort of bottom 2 rows for the blues and the greens. A little bit of a sultry palette, but it's a good one to have in your collection. Nice staple for everyday looks. Next is the 35i, which is the Ice Fantasy. I actually only picked this up recently. I know it's been out for a while. I managed to get hold of it. So this is kind of more pastel tones, and there's some sort of metallics and glitters in there. Never been the massive fan of pastel shades, but I'd actually seen quite a few looks using this recently, and I thought I'm going to take myself out of my comfort zone and add this to my collection and give it a go. Not played with it yet, but one that I'm really excited to use. So then on to James Charles, which I think everybody has in their collection. Really lovely, nice, vibrant palette. Lots of mixtures of colours in there. You've got kind of your neutrals in the middle, but then reds and purples, blues, greens, everything you kind of want it all in this palette, which is fab. Another one of the larger ones is the 3503, which is Fierce by Nature. This is a gorgeous colour story. So this has got loads of beautiful, really bright reds and oranges in there, and then there's just this like bam green sort of thrown in to really create some unusual looks. I really like this palette. It's really gorgeous. Then on to my Jaclyn Hill. I've got the volume 2. I never picked up volume 1. The colour story kind of never sort of stood out for me, but this one is definitely more up my street with the pinks and the reds and the oranges. More kind of warmer, colourful colours in this pan, and again just sort of glitters and foils as well. As you say, I'm sure everybody's kind of got this in their collection. It's quite a sort of standard that's out there in the beauty community. So these next two are two of my favourite Morphe ones. So this is 35M, which is also known as the Boss Mood palette. So this has got some gorgeous, really nice fall colours in there. So it's got the greens, kind of pinks and purples, but then a bit mauve, a bit more muted. I think this is a gorgeous palette. Absolutely beautiful. Then this next one is the 35B, which is also known as Colour Burst. So, a bit as it says on the tin, some nice vibrant colours in here, all the way from your blues over to kind of pinks, and then a little bit of yellow in that bottom corner there. So a couple more from Jaclyn Hill. So these are her Vault collection. There's 4 of these which I've got. This one is Armed and Gorgeous, which, try and hide the mirror there, which is beautiful. Again, like a fall palette, lots of nice warm yellows and oranges and a brown in there, and a little bit of a dark green that you can deepen your crease up with. This is a lovely one, as I say, for fall. Next one is Dark Magic. These are some really gorgeous sort of deep blues and teals in there. Nice 2 sort of pops of shimmer that you can add onto your lid to create some stunning looks. This one is Bling Boss, so this one is definitely more purple and pinks. I think the shimmers in this palette are gorgeous. You can catch those in the light for you. Really, really lovely. And then the last one of the vault is Ring the Alarm. And this one I'd say is much more of a neutral palette, so it's quite good for everyday looks for this one. So more sort of brown based, slightly warmer colours in here. Again, just some really nice shimmers that you can jazz up your look if you want to. Then we have another one of my absolute favourites with greens in here is the 18B. This is known as Making Money. And this, as you can see, has got some gorgeous, gorgeous shades in here. I mean, that teal is absolutely beautiful. I also love this really deep mossy green as well. I just think it's a stunning palette. One of the better ones, I reckon. Another one of the 18 pans. And this one is the 18S, which is Making Sunset. So as you can see, nice sunset palette. Some really, really lovely purpley colours in here, along with the oranges and the yellows to make some really nice sunset eyeshadow looks. I, of course, got the Morphe Coca-Cola collaboration palette. I've not yet played with this one yet. So this has got some really nice pops of colour in here, a lot of neutrals, which is quite good. You can make some everyday looks, but those two reds in the middle, you can make some really nice eye-catching looks as well. And the lovely sort of foil shimmers. There are two pressed glitters in the palette, this red and this silver, which people aren't always too keen on. I don't mind too much using glitter around my eyes, so it doesn't bother me, but again, lovely palette. Then my last two from Morphe are two that I've picked up recently, the little 9 pans. So this is the 9K Khaki Calling. I've not actually played with these yet. Which is, let's get there, this gorgeous green palette with some neutrals again. I don't think the camera's doing this very good justice really, because these colours are absolutely gorgeous in real life compared to probably how they're coming across on the camera. And then the next one is Colour Me Cool, which is this nice bluey green purple little palette, which can make some quite good looks from a 9 pan. I think this is quite a good one that you can have sort of take on your travels with you when we're eventually allowed to go on travels again, which will be nice. So next up is Wet n Wild. I've got 3 of these kind of little pans. This one is Comfort Zone. So again, these are great for kind of making different looks, from anything from everyday to moving into night. So a couple of these shimmers on here. I mean, this one looks as if it's a bit of a duochrome. I don't know if you can hopefully see that on the camera picking it up. But I've heard great things about this. I only picked these up, I think, last month, so I've not actually played with them yet. But they're fab, and I think they're only like £5, so really, really affordable, which is great. Next one I have is a bit jazzier. This is Cosmic Collision. So I'm absolutely living for this shade and this shade here. They are absolutely gorgeous. And then this one, which kind of reminds me of Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance, with a couple of these colours along the bottom here, is their Rose in the Air palette, which again I'm excited to try. I've not used Wet n Wild shadows before, so something I'll give a whirl. As I say, really, really affordable. I think about £5, something like that, really cheap. So the next couple I have are from C Colour Cosmetics, which are American, and they've actually recently introduced standard international shipping rates. So the palettes are really cheap anyway. I think about $10, which is probably about £7, £58, something like that. But now they've brought in the sort of set rate shipping for the UK. It makes them really, really cheap and affordable, so I've picked up a few. They're definitely a duping brand. So this is meant to be the Jeffree Star. I think it's something Killer palette, something along those lines. So this is meant to be the Jeffree Star. I think it's Beauty Killer is the name of the actual one. Again, just kind of a bit of a more bold and out there colourful palette, but it is definitely meant to be like that one. So I thought I will give it a whirl and picked up this one. The next is their Golden palette, which is meant to be a dupe for the Natasha Denona Gold. I've actually got another one coming up a bit later on. I'm hoping that you can still see this with the plastic on. Unfortunately mine came a little bit battered, so you see that one's crumbled there, so I've got the plastic still on. Really fab customer service. I got in touch with them and straight away they sent me another. Unfortunately the same thing happened with the second one, so I thought I'm not going to raise it anymore, I'm going to leave it as it is. As I say, for about £7 odd, I'm not too worried, but really excited to give it a go. It just means I have to store it flat and just keep the plastic on, which is not too big of a deal to me. And then the other one is their Savannah palette, which again, a little bit of a crush shadow here, which I have to keep the plastic on, so apologies that I've got my ring light and my normal light shining on there for you. Hopefully you can see a bit better now. So this is the dupe for the Safari palette, which I've actually got, and it's in my high-end palette collection video that will be coming up after this one, so hopefully you'll get to see that. I might actually do a comparison video on these, just to sort of show you the difference in the quality and the colour, and you can obviously save yourself some money if you don't fancy the Natasha Denona one, but that's that. So up next I've got a couple of NYX palettes. This one is called Grind. I know it came out with a couple of different collections. I think it was 3 at the time. They did some like lip glosses, lip vinyls and the eyeshadow palettes. This is the more grungy one, obviously, because I just love grunge. So nice palette, again, quite a few mattes, a few shimmers. Don't think the formula's the best on this one. I think NYX have definitely upped their game since. I'm absolutely dying for the Utopia palette to come to the UK. It's killing me every day that when I look on Instagram and it's all over sort of the US. I think it's slowly seeping into other European countries, but it's yet to arrive here in the UK. And it's like, come on NYX, just let it arrive. I really want to buy it. But this is the Grind palette. This is one of their little ultimate palettes. So this one is called Cool Neutral. So I do like some of my cool toned stuff. I am cool toned skin, so they do tend to suit me better than warms, but I don't worry about it too much. I wear lots of warm colours anyway, but that's that one. Again, nice sort of everyday neutrals more at the top, going down into a bit more of a sultry nighttime look at the bottom, and the two sort of foils in those two bottom rows I think are just fab and gorgeous. And then last not least in my very tiny NYX collection is the Lid lingerie. Makes some really nice eye looks with this. As you can see, I managed to put my fingernail in this last time I used it. Doesn't look like I've actually touched it that much, but I've actually used this quite a lot. I like the fact you can make some really dark looks by bringing in this nice rich sort of autumn brown here, but you can kind of keep it cooler with this shade and the orange at the top. I think it's lovely, nice little one to have in your collection. So this one on its own is called Lottie London, which is really super cheap here in the UK. I have seen this on ASOS, so whether you can get hold of it internationally if they've still got it. I think I purchased mine on Superdrug's website, so this was from sort of the recommendation and watching a video from Make Me Up Miss Her. I absolutely love her, she's amazing. Go check her out, her skills are just phenomenal. But along the bottom is all your mattes, and then along the top is all your sort of foil shimmers. And she made an absolutely gorgeous look, so YouTube definitely made me buy this one. And again, I think it was about £7, something like that. It wasn't expensive at all. So next up I'm going to do a couple of Colourpop palettes. So this one is called Through My Eyes, which is a collaboration palette. I actually missed this when it first came out and was waiting ages for it to come into stock, and it never did, but I managed to get hold of this on Depop, which I was really excited about. And it's never been used either, which was even better. So I'm sure a lot of people have seen this one before. It's just a really gorgeous palette. Colour Story is definitely right up my street, with some of kind of the mauvey, more muted pinks in there, but with the pops of that teal and turquoise, and then going into that mustard yellow. It's absolutely beautiful. Then I have my Disney Villains Misunderstood palette. Not actually played with this one yet. I bought this for the shimmers because I just think some of the colours in here are gorgeous. Never used to really be into shimmer eyeshadows that much. It's only recently that I've got into them, just because I have hooded eyes. I used to find I used to crease a lot on my eyelids, but I found now if I set my crease a little bit higher, I can kind of overcome that problem, so I can wear them a little bit more, which is great. So pick this one up and it's fab. Good Sport is one of my all-time favourite Colourpops. I think this colour story is just beautiful. I've never seen anything like it before. Again, had to hunt this one down, another Depop purchase. So as you can see, just the mixture of colours in this palette I think is absolutely beautiful. Really unusual, and I don't know about you guys, but recently I know a lot of them that they're bringing out are really, really neutral. There's not so much variation in them. In my opinion, this is when they used to bring out really good palettes, really nice stories. They were very different, very varied. So hopefully they'll go back to that again. And at the moment, they just seem to be having a run of a lot of neutral palettes. This one is the All That palette, which is very plastic, moody and sultry. Really nice sort of deep reds in here, then the lighter shades to sort of transition to, and then that gorgeous deeper colour in the bottom corner there called The Feels. I think it's gorgeous. Really, really nice palette. Very, very sultry and sexy, I think. And then another favourite from Colourpop of mine is So Jaded. So this is with the Kathleen Lights collaboration. Again, I think this is a beautiful colour story. Just, oh, these colours, honestly. I mean, the shimmer here over to kind of this shimmer here, and even the purples at the bottom, and this really, really sort of dark, deep green. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely stunning palette. Then I have all my 9 pans that, again, most people probably will have seen. So this is Orange You Glad, which is absolutely, again, gorgeous. As I said in my other video, not found many occasions to wear orange eyeshadow yet, but I think it's one of my favourites. Does scare me a little bit, but I definitely want to give it a try, so I had to pick up this one. Then I've got Strawberry Milkshake, which is all these lilac lovely pinks mixed in with the shimmers in there. Main Squeeze, which is similar to the last one but leans more red. I think this one's a bit more daring, and I think this is kind of the baby sister to the All That palette that I've just shown, with all the much deeper sort of darker colours in there. I think they go well together. They'd work well with the look together as well. And I've got Just My Look with the greens, because again, I love my greens, and just that shade in the middle, Mary Jane, that gorgeous kind of limey yellow. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I got the Aura and Out from the tie-dye collection, again just because it leaned that little bit more toward the greens with it. I'm not the biggest fan of pastels, as I've said, but I think I can use this kind of with other palettes rather than on its own to create a look. I picked up the Honey, which is, again, I think it's a gorgeous monochrome palette with these yellows. I really, really like yellow. I think it looks lovely on the eyes, and you can use this bottom shade here to deepen up the crease. Nice and summery, really bright. Makes me smile when I see yellow eyeshadow, which is really nice. And then last but not least is the Lilac You A Lot, which is just some beautiful kind of dusty purples in here. Really, really want to get my hands on Ooh La La, but as I say, Colourpop recently just don't seem to be restocking the website with much, so I've got it on my wish list. Keep waiting for it to come through. I'll just have to keep my eye out on that one, but in the meantime, I've got this beautiful one to look at instead. So next up, I'll share my BH Cosmetics collection. Got quite a few eyeshadows from them. This is the Daisy Marquez collaboration, which is a bit of a weird palette. You kind of take that out and pop the mirror in there, which is a bit strange, but I never do that. But that's the palette there. That's the palette there. Nice rainbows, good mixture of mattes and shimmers, which is really good. Really like a lot of BH Cosmetics palettes. I think they're fab, really, really affordable. I tend to get mine from Beauty Bay here in the UK. You can order directly from their website as well, and I don't think shipping is too much, but I tend to just buy stuff from Beauty Bay anyway. I've got a couple of their 16 pan square eyeshadow ones. So this is Summer in Saint-Tropez. Which is really, really nice, vibrant palette. Some really beautiful colours in here to make quite a few looks with good variation, I think. Good one for the collection. And then it's obviously the blueberry muffin. So I've done an in-depth video on this one with some swatches and a tutorial on a look. I'll link that for you. It's a really, really, really gorgeous palette. And I really like the fact that you can create a neutral look out of this using sort of this column here. Or you can obviously go, as it says on the tin, with more of your blues, but there's a bit of a purple tone to them as well. I think it's absolutely stunning. Then the next one I have is the avocado toast. So this is, again, lovely kind of green palettes and pops of pinks in there. The BH Cosmetics shimmers are absolutely gorgeous. This is a really, really nice palette. And I also have the Smitten in Switzerland. And I mainly bought this palette for those bottom two rows. I just think they're gorgeous. I think you could easily split this into a look with the top two and a look with the bottom two. Just really, really gorgeous. I think these are really nice to have in your collection, nice and varied, and I say really, really, really affordable. So next up is a collaboration of a palette called It's My Ray Ray. When I got this, I was actually quite surprised how small it is. So just for comparison, sort of, that's my hand. I don't know why, I just expected it to be a little bit bigger, but hey ho. It's quite easy, at least for storage and travelling. And inside, again, is just this lovely colour story of neutrals at the top, some blues and purples, a little bit of a yellow in there, and this foil sort of shimmer here is absolutely gorgeous. Really, really nice. This one I got on sale. This is again another collaboration called Run Wild by Tina Young. It folds out into quite a few bits. So there's a blush palette or face palette. Then up at the top is the eyeshadow palette there, and again with two elements. I think they're meant to be for the face, sort of two highlighters. I think this is really gorgeous, lovely colour story, and I think I got this for about £10 when it was on sale, which was a bargain. Then last two from BH Cosmetics are the Zodiac, and I got the Zodiac Love Signs. So this is the original one. Really, really nice. Bit bulky with the sort of the size of it and then the size of the pans. I suppose I could sort of depot this, but I do like how it's laid out. I think it's quite cute. Again, just a colour story that really talks to me. I like that all the mattes are in the middle, then all the sort of shimmers around the outside, just to make some really, really fun looks. Then the Love Signs one, which is a bit more colourful. Sort of same format there. Just with really, really gorgeous colours. I think these are, again, a bit more fall, and then with the odd sort of pop of pink and blue in there. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Really, really lovely palette. So next up in my affordable are the Beauty Bay sort of own palettes. So I've got two smaller ones and some of the larger ones. This is the small 9 pan, the Fiery Mattes. Can't quite remember how much this was, but I know it definitely wasn't expensive. I know the larger ones are about £23, so I think this was about, I want to say 16, but again, I think I got it on offer. Quite often they'll do sort of 10-20% off on their app, which is really good. Just a really nice one, I think, to create a lovely sort of fiery sunset look in this. You can go really all out with this red colour here if you wanted to, or you can do it a little bit more subtle, bringing the browns into there, but it's absolutely gorgeous. Then I also have the 9 pan Bright Matte. I think this is a really handy travel palette as a rainbow palette, which is really gorgeous. So I think it's meant to be the key colours kind of out of the Bright Mattes palette, but it's just a lovely mix in there. And again, I think you make some nice colours if you're out and about, if you're going on your holidays or anything, want some colourful eyeshadows with you. It's really, really handy. You can pop it into your luggage and it takes up no space at all, which is fab. So speaking of Bright Mattes, I bought the small one and then went ahead and got the larger one. So this is a full spectrum rainbow palette, and what I really like is that you get a mixture of mattes and shimmers in here. So if I bring this up, you'll be able to see you've got different shimmers that complement the matte colours all along. You've got a fab neutral row up at the top, which you can use to sort of complement and enhance any looks. But again, if you're going out and about anywhere, you can take this and create a nice daytime look with that, no problem. And then obviously going down, you can bring in the colours in there. Really fab palette from Beauty Bay. Really love this one. I also picked up their other larger palette. So this is Origin, which is 42 colours. Again, I'd say this is quite a neutral palette, but leans more sort of towards a warm pinks. Again, some really, really lovely shimmer shades in here for making everyday looks. And you can mix and match these, which is fab as well. I really like that idea. So this one is Evolve, which is, again, really gorgeous palette. What I probably should have said on the other one, actually, is it's meant to kind of help you out if you're starting with makeup, or you're not quite sure how to create looks, what colours kind of go best together. The idea is you've got a row for each sort of section. So up at the top is base, then transition, you've got your crease, got a liner if you want to pop a colour and a bit of highlight, and obviously then the columns that you can kind of mix the colours together to do that, which is really, really useful if you're not quite sure how to put looks together, or you're a bit intimidated when you've got a larger palette there and what goes well and what will sort of blend well into each other without turning too muddy, which is absolutely fab, I think. Fab idea. Then we have the third one of this little set, which is called Identity. And this one is a bit brighter. It's not as bright as the bright palette, but definitely has, I think, a little bit more colour in there. I also like it's got the more sort of grungy tones as well, which makes it a bit more autumnal. Really, really nice palette. Then last up from Beauty Bay is, obviously, I think everybody tries to get their hands on this. I managed to get it in a restock, is the Nikki Tutorials collab that they did. Now if I open this lovely lady up, what I actually liked, I'll try to not get the mirrors on there. What I actually liked about this palette is they popped a little bit of a card in there, which sort of explains that some of the shadows can be used wet and dry and how they work, which I thought was a really nice touch, which is good. Haven't used this yet. Want to give it a go. I might actually do a video on this separately. I know a few people have given it quite bad reviews and said it's not very good, so I wanted to give it a go for myself and see what it's like. So I think I want to do that and pop it up on here to see what the quality is like and how it comes out. But yeah, that's that one. So next up in my affordable collection is a palette from Primark. We all love a bit of Primani. This is their Sunset Beach palette, which was £6 whole. Recently I found that Primark are kind of upping their game with their makeup and their beauty. I think that they're trying to make a name for themselves, which I'll happily join in with, because I think the quality is really good for the prices. And again, this is just a nice sort of neutrals with a little bit of orange in there. I've managed to put my nail in this foil here. But I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and for £6 you just can't go wrong, can you really? Then the next two are ones that are in these kind of like plasticky packaging, and then the names are in the right in here. So this one's Honey, which obviously kind of by the name suggests it's a yellow toned palette, which I've actually used and was complimented on one of my looks with this. It was very summery, similar to the Colourpop one really. You can make a nice sort of look out of this. You've got the darker brown to really deepen up your crease if you wanted to, or you can go quite bold with that yellow. And the lovely gold and champagne shimmers that are in there too. Really fab. Again, I think this might have been about £5, I want to say. Can't remember properly, but definitely cheap and definitely under £10. And the next one is Cherry, which I haven't used yet, but I'm really excited to play with this one. This is the beautiful reds and pinks that are in here. Not too sure quite how some of the shades are going to differentiate on the eye. Be quite interesting to see. But I do like the shimmers that are in there. I think you'll be able to make a good look. And again, for a couple of pounds that I picked this up for, I'm not too worried what I'll be able to do with this. I think they did do a peach as well. But the colours that were in there when I had a look were quite neutral. They weren't sort of too peachy or orangey, so I didn't pick that one up. But they're the Primark ones for you. Next up, I have a couple from Elf. Again, quite affordable, not too expensive. This is the Retro Paradise. This is the more recent one that came out. And I think this is a really lovely and gorgeous and unusual colour story that's in here. Just some of the looks of it to me. I mean, this really, really gorgeous tealy blue here. And the mix of sort of the turquoise, but then there's lilac, but then there's kind of this like mustardy, deeper, sort of dirty yellow. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And I think it was about £14 when it came out, which isn't too bad I know they're obviously probably a bit cheaper in the US, but for the UK it's not too bad for £18 eyeshadow palette. This one is their Earth and Ocean, which is kind of what it says on the tin. There's greens over to this side and then blues over to the other side. This one doesn't scare me too much. I know there's blue in there and I'm not the biggest fan of blue eyeshadow, but the kind of deeper tones that I can mix in with those greens and that browns as well. Just think it's really lovely colour story that I don't mind sort of having a go and jumping into with this one. And I say, I'm always a sucker for this green here. This kind of £6 is the reason that made me buy this palette. It's really nice. Then another one of the large ones from e.l.f. that I've got is Opposites Attract. I've used this one for kind of a nice everyday look. Again, I think you've kind of got more neutrals on this side, which is good for work. Really nice, needs just to pop on. And then more going into the kind of sultry colours for any sort of nighttime, evening looks. Again, really nice palette to just have in the collection. The two smaller ones I've got is the Bite Size in the Jalapeno. I've used this one a couple of times and it makes a really gorgeous look. This gold has amazing payoff. It's brilliant, absolutely gorgeous, and just this green made a really nice look with this. And I think it was a couple of pounds, not much more. I think I want to get a couple more of these. There's about, I think, 6 now in the collection, different colours. Really handy to have, really nice. And then last up is the Velvet Touch eyeshadow. I bought this on a whim. I think it was in the sale when I was buying the other stuff. And it's really gorgeous. They're kind of these, like, I can't explain the texture. It's kind of like wet-ish, but still a powder when you put it on. The problem I have is that my hooded eyes do sort of crease and wrinkle. So if I'm wearing this all day, it does set into those wrinkles, which is not ideal. But using it sort of in a corner, under the eyelashes, I'm fine. But if it's all over my lid, I would have to kind of touch up throughout the day. That's the only thing I noticed with this. But fab. I think, again, a couple of pounds when it was in the sale. I think I topped it up in my basket so that I got free shipping, because no one pays for shipping, right? So the next up I have is LA Splash. I put this down as affordable drugstore, as I think it was about £20. Wasn't really sure whether to put it as indie or not, as you don't really come across this much here in the UK, but I thought, hey ho, for its price point, I'll pop it into my affordable. So this is a lovely kind of muted rainbow palette, if that's such a thing. So the colours are still vibrant, but they're not like really bold and in your face. So like that green that's in there, the kind of purple that's in there, it's not going to be too OTT if you're making a look with it, which I really like that about this palette. And a sucker for this amazing packaging. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And on the back as well, absolutely beautiful palette. I then have my Lorac Pro Intergalactic. I think this was about £16, I want to say. These pans are absolutely massive though. Like, you really get a lot of bang for your buck, and it's quite heavy. I think it's 58 grams, this palette in total, which is really good. Reminds me a little bit of Subculture, but I think a bit more vibrant. And I just, again, sucker for green shimmers, so just had to pick this one up. I'm really excited for their Circus Tent release as well, which I think is coming up next week, or it might be this week by the time the video is up. Really want to pick that one up. I've heard some good things about it, seen a couple of swatches, and it looks fab. But this is the Intergalactic, just so you know. So then one that's really kind of random and out there is by You Can Be. So I know you can get hold of these on Amazon, eBay, which mine's from eBay, and possibly Wish and AliExpress as well. They do a couple of kind of dupe palettes, I think, similar to the Huda Beauty ones. This one's called Back to School, and I picked this up, as you can imagine, for the greens and the yellow. So some nice mattes and shimmers in there. This looks like an awful pressed glitter that's kind of stars and moons, if you can see that. I've not even touched it, and don't think I am going to touch it, but if we just ignore that one, it's an absolutely gorgeous palette, and one that I think you can make some really nice looks with. So I had to pick it up, and I think this was about £12, which included shipping as well from China, which isn't too bad at all. So we're down to the last two brands. This one is Technic, and this is their Shaken Not Stirred palette. So it's similar to some of the Revolution ones that got cut off in my last video. They're reloaded palettes. It's meant to be a subculture dupe. So again, kind of got your greens, your yellows in there, that lovely deep sort of teal, your kind of greeny yellow shimmer. Really, really lovely palette. And I think Technic in the UK, it was a couple of pounds. I think I got mine off eBay, but really wasn't expensive at all. In the theme of grungy palettes, which is quite similar to the other one, I got this one as a present, is Gothica. A few more darker mattes, I'd say, in there this time, and then it's kind of got this reddy orange sort of pop to it as well, but it is quite similar. But as I say, I don't mind as one was a present. Really, really lovely palette. I think it's fab for sort of Halloween, fab for fall and autumn. Really, really good one to have in your collection for the sake of a couple of pounds. Then a larger one I've got from Technic, which I actually saw a couple of videos on this, which is what made me buy it. A couple of YouTubers doing some looks. Oh, I keep putting my fingers in them. This is Marrakesh palette. So it's probably similar to any Morphe palettes that you get. Again, it's kind of the greens, the oranges, and those purples as well. I just think they look beautiful to make some gorgeous looks with. I think this was about £15, a bit more expensive, but obviously it's a bit bigger. And in the grand scheme of things, really not that expensive compared to some of the other brands that are out there. At least we have a brand called W7, which I think is UK based. A lot of their palettes are dupes. I think they're a dupe brand really, that they bring out, and there are a couple of pounds for some of these. I think these may have been a £5, and there's 3 of them. This is kind of the more orangey red kind of based one, which is called Outrageous Orange. Similar to the Huda Beauty, it's meant to be kind of a dupe for them with the mattes and the shimmers in the neon colours. I also got the green one of them as well, just to show you that. That one's called Glowing Green. This shimmer down here is absolutely gorgeous. And then the last one is the pinks, which is called Punchy Pink. One of the shades broke in the post to me. The lovely lady on eBay actually sent me a replacement, but I don't know where I've put it. I can't find it. But it was just another kind of, I think, a champagne-y shimmer, so I'm not too worried about it. But that's the pink one there. So then it's a couple of palettes that are meant to be sort of Anastasia Beverly Hills dupes. This is Delicious, and this is meant to be a modern Renaissance dupe. So as you can see, kind of the colours in there. Not had to play with this yet, I didn't get it that long ago, but I just thought it was quite nice with the neutrals, with kind of the pinks in there, just if I wanted to sort of add a bit more colour to it in the workplace. And I think this was about £7 or something like that. Really, really cheap, really affordable. And that's that one. Then they've got one for Subculture, which is called On the Rocks, which you can see. Definitely, as soon as you open it, it's definitely a dupe for that. I've actually got the Subculture palette, so again, whether I might do a video on these two just to compare sort of quality and the looks with each other. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in, but that's that one there. Next one was called Whatever, and this is meant to be like the Riviera palette. So a bit more colourful, a bit more vibrant. You've got your shimmers along the top and the mattes along the bottom there. Then the last two, this one is called Queen Bee. So this is meant to be the Urban Decay Honey. Get this plastic out of the way. This one's in a tin. Sort of a similar setup to the Urban Decay ones as well. This one's quite new. I've not tried this out yet. Just ignore the rubbery brush that's in there. Probably throw that away when I come around to using it. And that's that one. And then last but not least is the 24K Gold Rush, which is a dupe for, you guessed it, the Natasha Denona Gold palette. So you can really see there's some lovely sort of foily shimmers in here and the mattes as well. Again, probably going to do a bit of a dupe video with this, the Sea Colour Cosmetics and the Natasha Denona palette to see sort of comparison in quality. But yeah, that's that one there. So that's all of my eyeshadow palettes in this part of the series. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you have, please give me a big thumbs up to let me know, and I'll look to do some more kind of videos like this. I'm a big lover of lipsticks as well, so I might do a lipstick collection video for you guys. But again, please don't forget to subscribe if you would and support me. That'd be fantastic, and I will see you again soon. Bye.